All right.
Hey,
Merry
hey.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hello. There you are out there. Here's the old jingle stick. You know what I'm doing this year with the jingle stick?
What?
I like to follow Mary around the house when she's going room to room, going like that.
I know
I
she
bet she
loves
loves
that.
it.
I
I
know
know I
she
would.
does.
Yeah, it's got mixed reviews so far, but try to be in the spirit. Well, we've got Heather and Lamar and Sherry and me, Bob, and welcome. It's nice to have everybody with us. It's such a busy time of the year. It's kind of hard to believe that anybody would tune into us, but folks are, and we appreciate it.
We just got our Christmas tree decorated.
Yeah.
Like Kevin's just finishing it up as I speak.
Really?
Yeah, this is a crazy time of the year, but it's so nice to have, like, to walk into the room and it's twinkling. Yeah. I wish we'd put it up a couple of weeks earlier now that it's up. But yeah, let me say hi to everybody. Heather, are we giving anything away tonight in the comment stream?
Not that I'm aware of, but everyone should definitely go enter in to do the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway.
At bobandsheri.com.
At bobandsheri.com, because we're giving
Okay.
away a lot of goodies there.
All right.
Let me say hi to Kim Cushman, Brian Heaton, Dennis Karen. He's got his happy hour cocktail tumbler. Brianna Pound, who never took her. Girl, you didn't take your Christmas tree down? It's been up all year. Oh my God, what an icon. What a hero.
That's a time saver.
Wow.
It is.
Wow.
Herbert Davis, happy holidays from Plover, Wisconsin. Hi, Marlene Clegg and Amanda Boyer in Quincy, Illinois.
Yes.
And Jackie Williamson and John Callahan. Lamar, he has a question for you. Thanksgiving fruit salad with mayonnaise?
I had a bowl as big as my head, and I ate every bit of it. Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I don't see you eating that. That's more of a Midwestern thing, isn't it? I didn't know that you liked
His
that.
mama's recipe.
Now, I'm not talking about ambrosia. If you take a good fruit salad and you throw coconut in it, now you've got ambrosia and you've ruined everything. So let's don't do that.
But
that may be Midwestern.
I mean, ambrosia for me has coconut and marshmallow fluff and tiny mandarin oranges and mini marshmallows. Yeah. The mayonnaise in the fruit salad, I have to say, that took me aback. I've never had a fruit salad with mayonnaise that I know of.
Oh. Meredith Miller said, my husband is stuck in traffic on his end on Sanibel Island, Florida.
Oh, I'm so sorry for him. Oh my gosh.
It's terrible. You can get stuck in traffic anywhere. Sanibel, I know they have just terrible times with storms the last few years, but that still is one of the most charming places in America. It's beautiful. Yeah. Hope your husband gets home quickly.
The thing about that, though, that bridge, like, that's it. There's no alternate route. If you're stuck on it, you're stuck on it.
Yeah, you're stuck. You're not going anywhere else. That's right.
That's right. Exactly.
So can I? We just had Regina's like, sorry, no mayo and fruit salad. Mayonnaise.
You can do yogurt if you want to, but I don't know why you would. I mean, Duke's mayonnaise, baby, Duke's mayonnaise. I'm sorry.
But doesn't it make it sort of savory?
No, I don't think so. Not to me. Of course, I've been eating it forever that way. So, you know.
Oh my God. Listen to what Sherry's family eats. No. A holiday salad with lime jello, whipping cream, butter mints, and marshmallows. I'm sure it sounds horrible, but damn, I love it. What do you think, Bob?
I think that sounds like Wisconsin. That sounds like Wisconsin to me.
Roxanne, I'm sorry. This Miracle Whip thing you think of, is that considered, do people eat that? I didn't know. I thought you put that on an insect bite or something. I'm sorry.
This is kind of an inside Southern thing that people who have lived in the South, even just for a couple of years, or people who were brought up here and then never moved, will stand behind Duke's mayonnaise like no other product in the world. Yeah. And it's a good product. It's a good product. I just don't use mayonnaise.
I never used to, but except for like in tuna fish salad. That would be that. But I don't know, I'm married to a Southern man who has Duke's mayonnaise instead of blood. And after a while, it's like it just starts creeping into your life.
We get you.
Yeah, and pretty soon you're like, you know what would be good on this? Some mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Mary Banal is saying greetings from Sonoma County, California. I bet it's
Hello.
wonderful there this time of the year. Well, it's, Sonoma County, it's nice every day of the year, just about. It's just such a beautiful place, wine country. It's fantastic.
Okay,
Judy,
Dennis, let me say something to you, Dennis. You're making a statement here that Hellman's tastes better than Kraft.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
let me say that is correct. Hellman's is better than Kraft.
No, it is.
And
But I'm
Duke's
just
is
saying,
better than Hellman's.
Yes.
And that's just right. We can all just speak the truth here.
Yeah.
Hellman's is significantly better than Kraft.
You know what that reminds me of? When I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, the Sears Roebuck catalog was still a thing around Christmas time.
God, I love the Sears Roebuck catalog at Christmas time.
I can't remember it really, but my father and mother were visiting our next door neighbors, the Lanes. They were an older couple. And I brought over the catalog and I was going through things that I would like to get. And so Charles, who served in World War II, he was a commander in the Navy, just a great guy. And he said, you know what I love about Sears? And he just opens it up to the guitar section where you could buy Sears guitars. They were called Silvertone.
Silvertone, yes.
Yeah, the brand name. He said, there are 3 levels of quality that Sears offers: good, better, and the best. There's nothing below good. So at Sears, they started you off at good. And then you had to say to yourself, you know,
Do I want to hit the hip for better?
For better. I know I can't get best. Maybe I
don't deserve best.
It graduates you up, though. There's a graduation, you know?
Yeah.
Well, just for another few dollars, I could go better.
I know. It was brilliant.
It
was brilliant.
Out west, we had the Montgomery Ward catalog. And I can remember vividly. So my friends Patty and Renelle, their mom got the Montgomery Ward catalog in the mail. And the 3 of us would sit and page through this giant catalog. It was just like the Sears catalog, just a different store. And the one thing I remember thinking, so this is Northwestern Wyoming, and the men they were all ranchers and wranglers and oil field workers and, like manly men, like from a cowboy movie. And I would look at the men in the Montgomery Ward catalog in their lavender pleated pants and matching plaid sport jackets, or their tidy whitey underwear, or their golf shirt kind of look with their hair, that haircut that catalog models have. And I would think, where in the world do these men live? I have never seen one of these in the wild. Like, I've never seen a man that looked like that.
These were soft men. They were soft men.
City men, I'm guessing.
City men.
City men.
Yeah. They all lived in New York and Massachusetts. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's commenting on my shirt. People are saying it's a sweater. Dennis said, I want a sweater like that. Somebody else said they were from, I think, a Central American country, and I look like their flag, which is fine. I think I wear this once a year, and it's usually on the show. It's so hot, but it's basically a long sleeve T-shirt. I don't know why I bought it. Mary does not like it if I wear it out in public. She thinks that I look like a clown. But I walked into, it was a J. Crew store in Chicago when Landon was living there a couple of years ago in the winter, and I saw it, and I went, I have to have that. I don't know why.
I do love it.
I said, I have to have it. And so you either hate it or you love it, But
I love it. It reminds me of, I don't know whether it was the Electric Company or Zoom, but a kid show for like an educational show for kids that was on PBS a million years ago.
Somebody just said I look like I'm on Bob the Builder. I've seen Bob the Builder, but I'm not familiar with him really.
Bob the Builder, we can do it. Yeah. It looks like a bright, colorful, happy kid shirt.
Yeah, I do like it.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Stacy said that this is the first time that she's seen what any of us look like. But that's all she said, which is always kind of
get a lot of that.
Ominous.
People like to be
people
polite.
Say stuff like, wow, so that's what you look like.
Growing up when I was a kid and I'd listen to the radio, you'd have your favorite DJs. And I certainly did. And I was living in an area in New England and Connecticut where we got radio from Buffalo, New York City, Hartford had great radio, Boston. You just got all of these stations you could listen to.
Yeah.
And there was no internet, so nobody had a website. And so you just had to have in the back of your mind what these guys looked like. And I guess you could write away to the station and get an autographed picture or something like that. I never knew anyone who did. And it was shocking to me when I finally saw some of these guys because they looked like my father's older friends in some cases.
Yeah.
And I just thought they were going to be just really cool. One of the guys was really cool, a guy named Lee Baby Sims, and he was just the coolest guy. He was on at night. He mainly went after a teenage audience, and I actually met him once, and he was kind of my hero for a while. But you had no idea, and in some ways, it was really better that way because, I mean, you didn't have to think that this is the most handsome looking guy or the most beautiful woman behind the microphone. You could get, an idea. Okay, he seems like he'd be, a little bit chubby, but he's very funny. He's this old because he talks about what he was doing in school, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was really better to have a little bit of mystery. Nowadays, I mean, everybody is throwing up everything about their life. If you're in media, it's like you got to give it up, especially, when you go to a level of like a national TV show. I mean, Kelly and what's her husband's name? Mark. Good Lord. I think I know more about their bedroom habits than, well, I know as much as I think they know because they talk about it all the time. They talk, I mean, she just spews it out there, because it gets press and it gets viewers.
I will tell you the radio thing. I'll tell you something my mom said when I was visiting last month with my brother. I forget how we got on the subject, but we were talking about how so many people benefit from pretty privilege, men and women. Like we all know this, right? People who are attractive are perceived as being more intelligent and virtuous and all this stuff. So we somehow got on the subject of pretty privilege. And my mom said to me, my mom goes, "Well, Cher, you're just lucky because you've been on radio."
Oh God.
There's such a cliche. It's been around for years. It's probably been around since my parents were teenagers. But it's like he has a face for radio.
Oh God, I hear that constantly.
People used to say that, and there were guys all over the country that would spend their entire careers in radio, kind of like me. And the joke would be, "Oh, he has a face for radio," or he'd be in TV. And I've been at parties and been introduced, and guys have said that to me. Got the face for radio, huh?
Yeah.
Now I have to say, well, I was on television for 10 years. And now we're into a whole thing, and it's just like
I've had guys say that to me, and I just laugh and go, "Yeah, man, I heard that." Because what else can you really?
I just had this afternoon. I just had this afternoon.
How?
A guy was over. I was picking up my truck, and the guy had been working on it and cleaning it up or whatever. And I went and picked it up, and something came up. I don't know about. Because he had tried to call me or something while we were on the air and whatever, and he said, "I didn't mean to call you when you're on there." I said, "Well, that's no problem." He said, "Well, you got a face for radio, man. I'm just telling you." I'm like,
"No, he did not."
Yeah, I said, "Let me write that down because that's so original. I've never heard that." Do you mind if I use that sometimes? Because oh my God.
When I was, let's see, probably my first year in college, I had the standard fake ID that they all of us have, but we all pretend we didn't have. So I had a fake ID. It was a pretty terrible fake ID, but bouncers in Philly just don't care. So my girlfriends and I, we go to this club because we want to dance. And unbeknownst to us, it's WMMR night at the club. So WMMR is a rock radio station in Philadelphia that Bob and I actually worked for the same company that owned WMMR, a company called Greater Media. Perhaps you've heard us refer to it as
Yes.
Greater Mediocrity. But anyway, they owned WMMR, and WMMR was the monster rock station in Philly. So it's WMMR night at the club. And we go up to the bar to get probably something gross like a slow gin fizz or some nasty, college girl drink. And sitting at the bar is this guy, and he's kind of hunched over his beer, and he's got really long brown curly hair with like silver threaded through it. And the bartender said something to him, and he spoke, and I immediately recognized his voice. It was Pierre Robert, who is a legend in music radio. Everybody in radio knows Pierre. Everybody in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley area grew up with and loves and reveres Pierre Robert.
Yeah.
I had no idea at that point that I would also grow up to work in this business. And I was like, oh, are you Pierre Robert? And he turned and he looked at me and he goes, unfortunately tonight, yes.
And you know exactly what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, I was like, oh. But then, I grew up and got into the business and I was like, oh, yes, Pierre, yes. Because he didn't want to be at club night, any more than he wanted to be poked in the eye with a stick. But he was
a great name, Pierre.
He was a sweet and charming guy and a legend in radio.
Yeah. Pierre Robert.
There's a funny story that one of our bosses for Greater Mediocrity told us. Pierre Robert did I get his name right? Pierre?
Yep, Pierre Robert.
Pierre Robert. They thought on with that company that they were paying Pierre. He was on at night. And I mean, he would have people like Eric Clapton drop in because Philadelphia is a very big market. Yeah. And, it was a rock station. I think Philadelphia then was the 4th biggest city in the country. And so the guy's a powerhouse and he's making really good money. And so that company decided, the same guy that tried to get rid of Sheri and me, decided that they were paying him too much. And his manager at the station, who eventually managed us for a little while, said, well, you could do that, but here's what's going to happen. He's going to go across to the competition and he'll work for less money across the street.
For them. Yeah.
But he will hate you and hate this station until he drops dead at the console. Do you really want that? And he was right.
Yeah.
That is how it works, man. That is how
it works. And, I'm not saying Sheri and I haven't had a little bit of that attitude along the way.
Because we've had a lot of that attitude along the way.
Yeah, I was giving us a break. But they kept him because the manager who was speaking to the jackass at the top got it right.
Janelle Schnuver, and I just love your name, Schnuver, or Schoonover. Is it Schoonover, Janelle? She says, Bob, Sheri, Lamar, Heather, need to know what is your ultimate favorite Christmas movie, the one you have to see. It's Elf for me. I got to see Elf and Love Actually. Those are my two. How about you, Bob?
Well, I love Gene Shepard so much. He was my hero, and he was the guy who wrote A Christmas Story. And I've seen that movie so many times. I don't watch it every year now because, I know the dialogue by heart, but I have to say that's the one because I just think of Gene Shepard. And he's in it, actually. He's the guy who's in line with the bowler hat when the kid is trying to see Santa.
I have two. Elf, which I've already watched twice. I've already watched it twice, and I know for sure I'm going to watch it at least one more time, if not twice. And Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, the classics, yeah.
When they put Santa Claus in the box for the trial. Oh, my gosh. I loved it. It's just a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Elf, I just, and I think we spoke about this. When Farrell made that movie, he was very concerned. He said, this will be the end of my career. He said, this will mark me. It will ruin me. I don't know if I'll come back from this. And what did it do? It has turned into a classic.
The cool thing is he thought that, and he was worried about that and afraid of it, and he still leaned all the way 1,000,000,000% in.
He's fearless because when you see Will Ferrell on a movie, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be fantastic or it's going to suck. But even if it sucks, he gave it his very, very best shot.
As
Even
Ricky Bobby, he ran across the Charlotte Motor Speedway in his tidy whities and nothing else.
He doesn't care. He's
And
not
he's
afraid.
not built like an underwear model. I mean, that took a lot of courage.
he's just all in, even in a small part. He had a very small part in the Barbie movie, and he chewed that scenery like his life depended on it. I mean, I just think he makes everything he's in better. And I know I just saw Crystal Bianco says Will Ferrell irks my spirit, but girl, Elf is the one that'll change your mind.
Come on. Oh my gosh. When the sleigh finally hits it and it's gone and everybody's singing, oh, please. It's just great. There's 100 parts in that movie that are all great. And I mean, it's just fantastic.
And every performance, James Caan as Buddy the Elf's biological dad, Mary Steenburgen as his wife,
Yes.
Zoe Deschanel.
Yes.
I mean, every single part is Bob Newhart as Buddy's elf dad. Every single part is so beautifully cast. And Ed Asner is Santa.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who cast that movie, but I hope they got some sort of a prize.
What's the African American guy's name that manages the store that Buddy's working for?
What's the department store.
God.
Let me look it up. It's been
that guy.
It's been such
like I say, there's nobody in there that's phoning it in. There's nobody in it that's not doing a fantastic job. I mean, he is just, oh my God. Oh my God.
Where do you think Bad Santa stacks up? Not just with people like us. I mean, we're going to lean into being okay with some questionable material, but with truly decent people. Where do you think?
Oh, with decent people?
Yeah,
no,
the
decent people. They wouldn't watch Bad Santa. But as far as dark comedy, oh my gosh. I mean, it's dark, but it's funny. I mean, it is.
It was funny.
Days in Love, Lamar. That's the name of the actor who manages the gimbals where Buddy works. Yeah, there you go.
Man, he did such a great job.
We have had so many of the people that we've just mentioned on the show, and a bunch of them. Mary Steenburgen. Remember, we had her and Ted Danson in the studio together.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was surreal. When those
totally
two walked into the studio, first you're like, everybody, don't act funny, but that's Sam from Cheers. Like, it was so.
I know it.
And you know what? What a tremendous actor he is. Everything. I mean, great. He's a great actor.
Were you a fan of The Good Place, Lamar?
Yeah.
I loved him in The Good Place. I thought
great. Listen, he was great on CSI Vegas.
Let's be honest. He's good in those consumer cellular commercials, and that's a hard acting job.
Yeah,
it really is.
Right.
But you know what? That's a gig that took 3 days, and he's getting a big time paycheck for that. And Mary Steenburgen was so very nice. Billy Bob, when we had Billy Bob on the show, he was great too.
Billy Bob Thornton was delightful. Mary Steenburgen is so beautiful in person. It's crazy. But Heather, we haven't heard your must-see Christmas movie.
Oh, every year it's the 1984 Christmas Carol. And I get that from my grandma. She watches it every year. That's like the favorite one. And then I really like the ambiance of the first Harry Potter movie. And I think that's like a really great Christmas. I know it's not a Christmas movie, but the Christmas scenes in that.
It makes a lot of the list, though. It makes a lot of the list.
Where do y'all come down on Scrooged with Bill Murray?
I never saw it.
You would love it. It's great.
He's great. He's great. He is great. He is great.
Bob, I'm noticing a trend. You tend to resist these kind of what look like slapstick comedy Christmas movies starring big comic actors.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's just not your thing.
It's just not my thing. No, I don't have an answer to that. I think if I had kids that were like at the age of middle school or something, and well, at that time they don't want to spend any time with me at all. What am I even talking about? But for some reason, I don't know where my dating world was back then. You know, I mean, sometimes a man going by himself to see a basically children's Christmas movie is kind of creepy.
Oh, but I'm
So
here to tell you, Scrooged is not for kids. It's
really,
not for kids, but it's
right.
not for kids. It's one of those, it's like Elf. It plays on those two levels
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
your kids can sit and watch it and it's delightful. Buddy the Elf is eating candy and maple syrup for breakfast
Yeah.
on spaghetti. But it plays on multiple levels. And
Yeah.
Scrooged is a very faithful telling of the Dickens story, A Christmas Carol. But Bill Murray plays a cynical, greedy, monstrous television producer who is just here to get the ratings and could give a damn about your Merry Christmas or your open heart or any of that. He is contemptuous of everything. He had this beautiful girlfriend played by Karen Allen when they were young and just starting out, and she thought he hung the moon, but he stepped all over her for his ambition and would literally kick a kid in the street if the kid was slowing him down. It
Right.
is such a dark comedy. You would actually really like it.
All right. I'll check
I
it out.
just saw one come through from Cheryl Swanson Newton. She says she likes the new Grinch animated. No, there's only one Grinch movie for me. It's the original. I love the dog. I love the dog. I mean, it's just so cool watching that dog pulling that sleigh. And I mean, it's the best. It's the best. And Jim Carrey, he's the worst. He's the absolute worst. That was terrible. It was
I love that movie.
Oh my God. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was
I watched Heather's face when you were saying.
Yeah, it broke her
that.
heart. No, I'm so sorry,
Yeah, I
Heather, but
know
I'm
it.
just,
And
it's
her,
terrible.
His facial expressions in that, like I don't know. I guess maybe I was at the right age when that
Yeah.
movie came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that movie. I also really like, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, which I know is a controversial opinion, but we watched those on TV.
Oh no.
as
Oh
kids.
no. He kills that. He kills it. He kills it.
Judy Stuber just said Boris Karloff's narration in The Grinch is awesome.
Yes.
Is that not amazing?
God,
Is that not amazing that Boris Karloff did that?
Yeah.
But then again, you think about it. When was that originally made? The original Grinch, was that in the 50s, maybe?
60s, I think.
60s,
In the
early
60s?
60s, early
It's in the
60s.
60s.
So Boris Karloff was a horror
was-
movie star in what, the 30s or 40s? Something like that?
Yeah.
Definitely 40s.
40s. I don't think 30s. I think
Not
40s.
30s? Okay. So he would have been right up there, but God, he was great with that.
My little niece Violet has nothing for the original Grinch, less than nothing for Jim Carrey. But the John Legend Grinch, oh yeah. That calls to her like a homing beacon.
Kathy Curtis said, I love Bridget Jones too. I do too. I mean, people call
Very
that
clever. It's a very clever movie. The dialogue is
Totally.
fantastic. It's great.
just totally. She was fantastic in that.
I agree with Crystal Bianco. She says, listen, Tim Allen aside, the Santa Claus is a top tier Christmas movie because
Yes.
it really is.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes it can be hard sometimes when, he's very controversial, but the Santa Claus is a terrific movie. And even the sequels,
And it was so,
no,
it was just so different than, it wasn't a redone story. It was so different. It was very, like, as a kid watching that and with the elves and their little cocoa, it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Kathy Curtis says, isn't there an argument about Die Hard being a Christmas movie? It
There's
is
no
in this
argument.
house. It is
It's
a
a Christmas
in this
movie.
house.
I mean, there's no argument. If anybody's arguing with you about that, tell them to shut up. It's a Christmas movie.
It happens at Christmas. It's a Christmas
It's
movie.
a Christmas movie. Yeah.
There's a
Mindy-
miracle, when Bruce Willis's character saves the day. Yeah,
Yes.
it's totally a Christmas movie.
Mindy Blitzer said, Happy Hanukkah, Bob Sheri and Lamar. She's, I think, on
Oh,
vacation. So
Happy Hanukkah.
you have a
Tonight's
good
the
time.
first night of Hanukkah. Yes.
Yeah, that's
The
exactly right.
Festival of
That's
Lights.
right.
Happy Hanukkah for all who
Yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Although I'm guessing that our Hanukkah celebrants are not on happy hour tonight, understandably. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
celebrate with them in
That's
spirit.
true. That's true.
Let's see. Oh, these are going by so fast. Nancy Halcombe says, I love the heat miser and the snow miser. Yeah, I love that. I love those characters too.
Four Christmases. I'm the only person that doesn't care for Four Christmases.
I saw it and I was on the fence with it. I
It was
thought
too cynical. It was just too cynical.
It was. It was. If you haven't seen it, there's this couple and they're a real yuppie couple. They have everything in the world and they just don't want to be around family. They want to go someplace warm and can be left alone. So they come up with these excuses, but they get caught. They get caught and they have to deal with the family thing on both sides. It was kind of fun to watch them struggle.
There was, but I don't know. I don't know. I didn't care for it, but tons of people love it. They really do.
Yeah.
Did any of you watch the Christmas movie with Kristen Stewart? I think it was like Happiest Christmas or something like that.
She couldn't be anything that's happiest, could she?
It was actually a very good Christmas movie, honestly. I enjoyed it, I thought.
Why don't you have a New Year's resolution to give up your hatred for her?
I mean, she's just, my God.
She made one movie that you didn't like.
She's wooden. No, I'm not. No. You're confusing her with that other person that I will not name. But Kristen Stewart's just, I don't know. Gosh, she's just...
In this house, when my girls are home, we have epic Twilight marathons.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have seen the Twilight movies so many times. In fact, over the Thanksgiving break, we had a Twilight new moon viewing where we could all just kind of sit there and do the dialogue. And I can't tell you why Twilight has such a grip on my kids, but
what a lucky man your husband is to have
he is,
3 women doing a Twilight movie dialogue.
Yeah,
Teresa Broom. Yes, I remember Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. I loved Mr. Magoo. I was a big Mr. Magoo fan. Yeah.
These days, I am Mr. Magoo in some cases.
Yeah.
Cheryl Newton, you've never seen any of the Twilight movies? Oh,
I haven't either.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at Edie. Her daughter watched all the Twilight movies over Thanksgiving. It's y'all, it is a thing.
I took Alex with me. I was going to review the very first one. She had read the book. I was going to review the very first one, and I went to Charlotte to see it. And it was a special screening, and I took her with me. So we're in there, and it's just nothing but a room full of 12 to 14, 15-year-old girls. Okay, it's just full room. And we're sitting there, and what's his name, the werewolf?
Jacob.
Jacob. When Jacob appears on the screen, there was this vacuum where all the girls go, they sucked all, I thought I was going to pass out. They took all the oxygen out of the room. And they go, and this just went, it was crazy. It was cool to be there, but it was craziness. Oh my
There
God.
is so much to say about the Twilight verse. There is so much to say about the world that Stephanie Meyers created in Twilight. I don't even know where to begin. But like there's this scene where Edward, who is a 1,000-year-old vampire played by Robert Pattinson, but he's not the kind of vampire you grew up with. For those of you that have never seen Twilight, he can go out in the sun. He can go out in the daytime. But if the sun touches his body, he sparkles like a crystal rainbow. It's fabulous. But anyway, so Kristen Stewart plays a high school student named Bella. And Bella lives with her dad in the Pacific Northwest because her mom has gotten remarried and is stomping all over the country with her new husband. So she goes and stays with her dad. And she meets Robert Pattinson's character, Edward, at high school, because even though he's a 1,000-year-old vampire, he and his vampire siblings go to high school every day, which is an argument against immortality, if ever there was one.
I'll say.
And so, Edward, the vampire, he can move really fast. Like he comes into Bella's bedroom at night and watches her sleep. And like, that's romantic. And I'm over here, like when my girls were younger, especially, I was like, excuse me, pause that. That is not romantic. That is stalking and creepy and weird.
The chokehold those movies and those books had on me as a preteen.
One of our listeners just said he was a 1,000-year-old stalker. He was a 1,000-year-old pedophile.
Oh my God. It was just, and then listen, I've read, I have zero shame. I've read all of the Twilight books and have seen all of the Twilight movies more times than I even know. So I feel like I could do a doctoral dissertation on the universe of Stephenie Meyers. Edward watching her sleep and being 1,000 years old and all of it is the least of the weirdness. And you're talking about Jacob the werewolf.
Oh God.
Girl, the CGI in that movie, the werewolves look like Bob. If I took your dog Finn and I scotch taped a picture of your face on his face and then shot it on the portrait filter on my iPhone, that's what the werewolves look like. Heather, where's the lie? Where's the lie? It's the worst CGI.
Hey, here's my problem. They do not have fangs. Real vampires have fangs. They don't have fangs.
Well, they went to the
drives me
Charlotte Center
nuts.
for Cosmetic Dentistry.
You just check with any real vampire. They got fangs. These don't have
Cullen Carlyle, who is the patriarch of the Carlisle vampire clan, of which Edward is a member, is played by the actor Peter Facinelli. And they bleached his hair blonde, and they powdered his face with King Arthur all-purpose flour, and put a little bit of, shut up, Lamar, you know it's true, a little tinted lip balm on him. And he is the, oh my God, it's just ghastly, right? So last year, my youngest daughter is an RA at school, and the building that she was an RA in was called Carlisle. So before the first day of school, Karen Mia made door tags for all the residents and named them all after Twilight characters because they were in the Carlisle building. I don't know how many of them got the joke, but he is Heather Cullen Carlisle. Please defend.
You can't defend what they did. Like, you can't defend that movie.
What did they do to him? Like, it was the makeup. Oh my God.
So you know that Stephenie Meyer is writing 2 more books, or at least that's the rumor.
Now, I did like The Host. She wrote The Host about these like sort of alien parasites that get into your brain and you can see them in people's eyes.
2 more Twilight books, apparently, in the
Twilight. Oh, more Twilight?
Yeah, that is the rumor on the street. Whether or not it comes in, poor Bob, we've killed him.
Mackenzie, you're asking me how many vampires have I met? Let me just say this. I'm not going to give a number to that, but every one of them had actual fangs. Okay, let me go ahead and say every one of them had actual fangs. So
Billy Prevette said that Edward was not 1,000. That, like, I guess he was like, I don't know, 100?
200 years old.
Which is still too old to be dating my high school daughter.
I think so.
Okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Here's the other thing, and this is how you know you're a mom. This is how you know you're a mom. So I read the Twilight books, and I watch the Twilight movies, and then my girls become obsessed with Twilight, and we watch the Twilight movies every time they come home. And I don't think that as a teenager, you should be allowed to make the decision whether or not you want to become an undead blood-sucking fiend for all time.
Yeah.
Your frontal lobes aren't developed.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was 17, I had some ideas about certain boys that I thought were going to last forever. Whew, they didn't. So that was one of my objections in that movie. Heather, didn't you find that like, wow, Bella girl, you sure?
Yeah.
And they're telling you, even these people are saying, don't do it.
No, they definitely, like, the entire vampire family was like, please don't do this. You know, if I got the I just think about permanent decisions like that when you're a teenager. If I got one of the tattoos that I wanted when I was like 17 or 16, I would be so angry at myself right now because, oh my goodness, it would be so silly. I had
daughter Kaylee.
Billy Privet just said he died at 17, so he was a perpetual teen, like me.
But girl, he's Billy. Listen, he's been knocking around for a century.
Yeah.
So he may have died and become a vampire at 17, but he's had an awful lot of life experience.
Yes.
And what am I doing getting into an argument with Twihards, of which I'm clearly one? No one who's seen the movie this many times can pretend she's not a Twihard.
There's something that happens in fantasy novels where it's always like insert any teenage girl, and then a guy who's like stuck in his teens but like a million years old. And I think like it's just mentally preparing us for how dating men actually is. Because they're perpetually like 17 in their head.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Can we
Billy
stop?
says,
Can we
wait,
stop
Bob.
talking about twihards and get to something I'm interested in, like Tay Tay? Can we just talk about Tay Tay for a while?
Oh, I was telling these guys before we jumped on that this afternoon I rewatched the moment at the VMAs when Taylor at 17 won Video of the Year for Love Story, and Kanye interrupted her speech to say, I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce had the greatest video of all time. The camera cuts to Beyonce in the crowd. She's like, what just happened? It was
awful.
worse watching it this afternoon, and I saw it live.
Because you knew what was happening. You knew what was happening.
Which was worse? Which was the worst moment on TV? Was it that one or the slap?
I think that one. I think the slap
more than Will Smith with Chris Rock.
Because this is two grown men. This is two grown men having an altercation. Kanye was a grown ass man being a bully to a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, I'm with Lamar.
You know,
I can't believe that Taylor Swift's daddy wasn't there, because if Taylor Swift's daddy was there, he would have whooped his ass, I would think.
Yeah.
Now, the fallout from the slap has been far more devastating for Will Smith. Like, you forget, Kanye did that, and it was the first of the many red flags signaling that Kanye was not well and that the media should cease exploiting him so that he could receive treatment. But Kanye didn't really suffer for that.
No,
he didn't. Will Smith has lost his career.
Now maybe he's going back to singing. He's trying to get singing going now. Yeah,
maybe he'll get it back, but so far not so good. Kanye really didn't suffer, so I would agree.
The singing thing is not going to do it. The singing thing is not going to do it unless you're Brenda Lee. You're not going to have a #1 song, when you're in your 50s. It's very, very seldom. Most songs are produced and performed by people between the ages of 23 and 33. And
he's also a little bit old to get into the rapping game again. I mean,
the rapping game is a totally different, thing than it was when he was in it in the early years. So I don't think that's going to bring it back at all.
But
coming back to Kanye, so what was really powerful about that night, that if you haven't seen it in a while, you don't remember, she was fighting to not cry. Like, she was 17 years old and shaking and bewildered by what was happening to her. And then later in the night, Beyonce comes up to the stage to accept an award. And Beyonce, the crowd is going wild. It's Beyonce. And Beyonce said, I was 17 years old with Destiny's Child when I won my first VMA. And it was the most amazing night of my life. And it was a moment. And I want Taylor to have her moment. Taylor. And she pulled Taylor Swift up on stage. And then Beyonce stepped back into the shadows and gave up her time so that Taylor Swift could have what Kanye took from her. And I think in all of the pop culture conversation about Kanye and Taylor, and I'm going to let you finish, what we didn't talk about enough was how one woman lifted another woman up at a moment of absolute crap. It was powerful.
I think she did that. And she helped herself in the same moment also. Were you surprised, and I don't want to get political about it at all, but were you surprised when Taylor Swift was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year?
Not at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. Were you?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit, just because I think it's the only time, and they've been doing that for over 100 years. And I can't remember, I could be corrected on this, maybe Bob Hope was named Person of the Year one time, or Man of the Year. That's what they used to call it. But I think she's the first entertainer.
She's first artist,
First artist to be Person of the Year, which, in its own right is admirable, without a doubt, breaking through another glass ceiling that somebody, in the performance industry could be celebrated like that. It's just, wow. Now, on the other hand, Vladimir Putin was up for the award, and so you go, girl.
Yeah.
She didn't win that because she sold a lot of records or had a wildly successful tour or a wildly successful movie, or because she absolutely saved the US economy. She got it for all of those things. And
Well,
for this
one of our listeners,
enormous
Ashley,
body of
just said
work.
she's a force.
Yeah.
Ashley Fisher just said she's a force, and she is.
I've been a Swiftie from the jump. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'm a fan of Taylor Swift as a public figure, but I'm also a real big fan of the music. So I'm happy for her, and I'm happy for humanity. Did you really want to wake up to Vladimir Putin as the man of the year? Did you?
No.
I mean,
No, obviously
my
nobody
God.
did, but the whole idea of the person of the year is you don't have to be a good person. You just have to have the sort of impact on the planet that was, more powerful than anybody else. Hitler was the man of the year back in the 1930s. So,
But
Well,
if
they
you
did
had
have
the choice between a negative force
Yes.
and a
obviously,
positive force, the
obviously,
world is on
yeah,
fire.
Yes.
Why
right,
is it awful that
yeah,
the person of the year is someone who loves kittens and babies and rainbows and is an extraordinary hardworking talent?
right.
Yeah.
No, I
No.
agree. I agree. I mean, she has conducted her life in an amazing way and is a financial juggernaut. She's changed some towns' um, bottom lines for the year because she brings so much money into a concert venue. So I just thought it was interesting, and the picture of her on the cover of Time magazine. If you have not seen it, it is. I've never seen a picture of a woman that was more powerful in
I
pop
hate
music.
the photography in Time magazine. I think they did a terrible job.
Why do you say that?
I
thought
think these are
thought
the
she
most
looked.
garbage photographs I have ever
You're going to
seen of
have to
Taylor
explain
Swift.
that to me. I thought she looked fantastic.
Well, see, I'm a Taylor Swiftie, and I thought there was nothing original, special, or unique, and I just thought they were shitty photos.
Yeah.
I thought they were terrible. I was
I thought she
disappointed in the
looked
photography.
powerful. I thought she looked powerful, but so we'll disagree.
I'm gonna have to look at it. I hadn't seen it yet.
I don't
Jen
know that.
Byram says that she has a lot of crusty older radio friends who poo-poo Taylor. She's done all the things this year by just being herself and using her pure talent. Greatest quote is about her talking and making money with her music. She wrote about her life. It's going by. Wait. I love her, and I'm 53, cheering her on every day. Yeah, I just didn't love the photos. I think that whoever took the photos was shooting for some Annie Leibovitz iconic Rolling Stone moment and fell short. I think there are pictures of Taylor cheering in the skybox at this Kansas City Chiefs that are better than the ones Time magazine had. Heather, what do you think?
I think I was paying a lot more attention to the article than the photography, which is probably more to your point than anything, because there wasn't anything that really struck me. But I was very interested in some of the things that she said in the article. Like,
I mean, I
very
loved that
interested.
she had Benjamin Buttons, her cat, wearing him as a
Yeah.
scarf,
Yes.
but otherwise, I just was like, this is the best you could do? Time magazine? Ew.
All right. Well, we're just going to have to disagree on that. But it was, I don't want to say it was shocking, but I was surprised. And I guess it's because I've not seen an entertainer win that award before. Who won it? Who won it last year? Was it Zelensky?
I can't, you know what? That's the thing about, like,
I think
you
it
know how you
was.
can't remember like
Yeah.
2 years ago what won the
Yeah.
best picture Oscar? Like, you
I
can't.
know it. I know it. It's so weird.
It seems like such a big deal, and then we all get amnesia about it.
What was the best Oscar? Was it 1937? No, 1918. Was it 1918 that
I
won the
don't
movie of the year last year?
I don't think so. I'm gonna look it up though,
All
because
right.
it'll drive me
All right.
crazy if I don't.
While they're looking it up, I've had quite a few questions about my cocktail for the evening. Japanese whiskey Cheetah, Chita. It's really smooth and it was really good.
That's
I
what
did-
Gwyneth Paltrow sips when she takes a bath, Lamar. So you're in very good company.
There you
Bob,
go.
the best picture for 2022 was Coda.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 1918 was up for it and did not win. Coda was a foreign film, right?
Yeah, that's what it says
that's
here.
right.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with Japanese whiskey?
We were over when I was over there this in the summertime to see Kaylee and the kids and Shige.
Yeah.
We went to Costco because if there's a Costco in a country anywhere I go, I'm going because I love a Costco. Absolutely love a Costco. And so while I was there, I didn't carry anything over there to drink. And I thought, well, I'm here. So I'm looking and I see it and it was a really good price on it. And I'm like, it looks a little thin, but I'm going to give it a shot. Smooth as silk. So I went back and bought a couple of bottles for a couple of friends. And then I wound up bringing home about 5 bottles of that. All my shoes had liquor bottles shoved into them so they wouldn't get broke. I'm wrapping them in socks. I'm wrapping them in everything.
You're like a
made it back.
moonshiner, baby. You're
They
staying
all
with
made
the
it back.
family. You're staying with the history. I just never pictured Japan. And by the way, if you're new to us, Lamar's daughter is married and lives in Japan full time. That's why he was over there. I just don't picture the Japanese producing that, but I don't know why.
No, they're famous for their whiskey.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Gwyneth
good.
Paltrow would not allow just any liquid to slide down her throat. So if Gwynnie drinks it while taking a bath, it's good enough for Lamar for sure.
Oh, she was drinking it? I thought she was bathing in it.
No, she drinks it while she has a
Okay.
fireplace in her bathroom, as one does.
Of course she does.
And she enjoys having a bath and a Japanese whiskey and, looking at the fire and just kind of settling herself down for the night, which I know is what all of us are going to be doing after happy hour.
Yeah.
Herbert said, what is everybody else drinking? I'm drinking, speaking of Costco, Lamar, I'm drinking the swaggy Kirkland brand Costco Malbec for $6.99 a bottle, which gets a 90-point score in Wine Spectator because it's delicious. Yeah.
This is it's kind of blurred there. Silver Palm.
Yes, we had that at your house, right?
Yeah.
That's a great one. It's really good.
It is. They're not giving it away. It's about $19 a bottle, I guess, something like that. But that's given what it costs for a California cab. That's not too bad. I
got a $14 limit on the wine. $14. That's
really?
$14. Yeah, because at Costco for
$6.99
for $14. Oh my gosh, you can get a great Cabernet that's been aged in a whiskey barrel for like $12.
That's good stuff. That Mondavi whiskey barrel cab. Here's the thing about Kirkland's, like their Kirkland branded wine comes from some of the best vineyards and winemakers.
Yeah, they're not making wine. They're not stomping grapes. They're going to a winery and saying, we'll take 10,000 gallons of one of your best and we want you to put the Kirkland name on it. And the winery goes, we'll be glad to. Yeah. They're the #1 wine seller in the world. Nobody sells more wine than Costco does. #1.
Is that right?
Yep. #1 furniture chain in the country. They sell more furniture than any single chain in the country.
It's good stuff.
#3 pizza. #3 pizza place. They're the 3rd largest pizza seller behind Pizza Hut, that kind of stuff.
I would never buy a pizza there.
I know you wouldn't.
It's good though.
Hey Bob, they got them meatballs you keep talking about. They're in the frozen section. I'm thinking about trying some of those and see if maybe I've been wrong on meatballs. Maybe the Costco meatballs what I need to be trying.
Lamar will not. He's been doing this for weeks now. He will not stop talking about how he doesn't like meatballs. And Sheri and I look at each other and we just go, buddy, what? Now, if they're really crappy meatballs and they're filled with filler and all of that.
That's all I've ever had. That's what I'm saying.
What
Minigon meatballs. That's it.
Here's what you need to do. You don't live right near me, so you can't go to this place, but find an Italian deli, and they're popping up all over the place, like a place that specializes in fresh made pasta, and they make their own meatballs. You bring one of those. We buy them at this one place. My mouth is watering. We get about 12 of them. You can freeze them. This is made with Italian hands, and it's pure and it's delicious. And you put that on al dente pasta. Oh, marron. If you don't like that, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I got some things I got to do.
This, Lamar. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had brajol?
No.
Oh, buddy. Okay. listen, you would die. Like real brajol. Take a piece of like usually beef, but sometimes people use pork. Maybe like skirt steak or flank steak. Pound it paper thin, and then spread it out and lay freshly grated Parmesan cheese and parsley and some garlic and a little bit of like real breadcrumbs, and then roll it up really tight and tie it with butcher's twine.
Right.
Sear it on both sides and then cook it all day in your sauce. And it falls apart when you tap it with a fork, and it is the most insanely delicious thing. Real brajol. But the way that it's spelled,
tell me that doesn't sound good. Tell me that doesn't sound good.
It sounds tremendous. It really
the
does.
way that it's spelled, you wouldn't know. So I'll spell it for you in case you see it on a menu. Braciole. It looks like braccioli.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced brajol. Oh, buddy, is it good? The Mitagon upstairs?
Yeah. He likes it?
Loves it. Yeah. Loves
Well,
it.
try this too. Meatballs. It's spelled Meatballs. Get you some good meatballs.
I've never really had a good. Most of the time, here's some meatballs I've tasted. You go to the Christmas party and somebody's got a crock pot. They got meatballs in the crock pot. They're not good. They're not good.
It depends who's cooking them, and they could be.
These are not good. So that's how I've judged my thing. Now, here's what I got to do. I've got to try meatball. But before we light the Christmas tree, I'm going to go find a good meatball, decide if I like it.
People want you to. I'm looking at our people here, and they want you to review good meatballs. What should he do, Sheri? How should he, in the next week or so, how should he get some good meatballs in his pie hole?
Lamar, I put my family's secret recipe that one of my grandmothers went to her grave vowing to not share in Cooking with Cats.
Yes.
And the secret to really good meatballs, but this is also true for meatloaf and burgers. You want to be careful not to overwork. Ladies, don't beat your meat. You want to be very gentle with your meat.
It's the same way with a hamburger. It's the same way with a hamburger.
Yeah,
you have to be very light with it.
Because the more you handle ground meat, you change the structure of the proteins, and that's what makes it tough.
Are you 12 years? Are you 12 years old? Look at
I am. Yeah, that's what my husband says all the time. Sometimes my husband will say something, and I'll be like, "That's what she said," and he's like, "Oh God, save me." I want to shout out Stephanie Harris. She said, "I've really been in the trenches of postpartum depression. You guys are my respite and make me laugh during my morning walks and driving the kids to school and not feel so lonely. Lamar, you're a gem, and I love hearing you regularly now on the show." Stephanie, girl, I am wrapping you up in love.
Absolutely.
I have been there, and I know how dark and crazy you feel. There's lots you can do. There's medication. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Do not feel like you have to bootstrap this and be tough to prove that you're a good mother. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You do not have to ride this out alone. No one ever has to ride this out alone. Ever, ever, ever.
So listen to the Bob and Sheri Thursday night happy hours, because that's going to cheer you up. And by no means listen to anyone singing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." If you hear that on the radio, turn it off. Just turn it off. You have to work at being upbeat this time of the year. I mean,
it's a hard time. It's hard. It's very hard.
It is. And darling, what Sheri was saying was exactly right. You're going to get through this. You are, like the Merle Haggard song, "If we make it through December." You'll make it through December, and things are going to be all right. I know. It's just you got to work on it a little bit and stay away from triggers that are going to bring you down. And those triggers could be people.
Don't be afraid to ask for and receive help. When I went through it with Olivia, I was determined to tough it out. I'd waited so long to have this baby. I wanted her so desperately. I went through hell delivering her. The last thing I was going to do was not be overjoyed every waking minute. But your brain chemistry. Pregnancy puts your body through it, and your brain chemistry is crazy. And it's not that you're not a good mother or a loving mother. It's not that you don't want your family. It's that your brain chemistry is all kinds of haywire. And there are so many things. We have so many things that can help. I don't like to see anybody suffer, especially because as women, we internalize so much guilt and responsibility. We blame ourselves if Christmas isn't perfect, like we're freaking Santa Claus, right? We beat ourselves up to death over everything. Girl, I don't want that for you. DM me if you need to, okay?
And
I don't want you suffering like
everybody,
this.
Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie, just died. He was 99 years old, and his words of wisdom are flying all over the internet. And on the Bob and Sheri show. And one of the things that he said, in order to be happy, stay away from people who are negative. Stay away from people that don't bring you energy and happiness, because they're just zappers. They're Draculas of your joy. Try and it's hard this time of the year because you've got people coming over, maybe if you have a lot of family, and there's always that one. Try to just stay away from them, corral them away, because they are doing you no good. Don't compete with them. Don't try to one up them. Just stay away.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Lamar, tell everybody what you are reviewing tomorrow on the regular show.
Obliterated on Netflix. Do not watch it with your mama or with your grandmama. Don't do it. It's rough. It's dark, but it's funny. Oh God, it's funny. Except
Lamar,
my wife, she hates it. But other than that, it's funny.
Lamar, I've got to read you our program director at K1047. Jack texted me today because he heard that you were reviewing Obliterated tomorrow. And he said, I binged Obliterated this past weekend on Netflix. It was awesome. I'm with Lamar that it's not for everybody. Never seen so many peckers all at once.
I didn't think that was a thing.
Sheri, as always, you just have a wonderful way to bring something warm and cheerful for everybody to remember.
It was a thing.
There you go. So the People's Movie Critic joins us for Obliterated tomorrow. Tomorrow, we also have a brand new episode of Talking Lamar.
Yes.
Tell everybody what that's going to be.
It is going to be named Egglog and Yule Nog. It's a mixture of all traditions of Christmas and where they come from, what they're about, how we got to start celebrating them. And the whole eggnog thing, Sheri has told me, I hate eggnog, I think, but I am going to work on a recipe for eggnog between now and next Thursday night. And I'm going to have my eggnog, and I'm going to have my Christmas sweater, and I'm going to have eaten a meatball I'm going to have eaten a good meatball. I'm
getting carpal tunnel with the jingle stick here.
And tomorrow's True Weird Stuff is called Beamed Up, and it tells the very interesting story of, is teleportation here? Yeah. We've got a Navy ship and a missing commercial airliner. Were they teleported? That's on the new True Weird Stuff tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Take us out with the jingle stick.